What's good? Welcome to another edition of the Major Music Lounge podcast. It's your boy Dee Dot. Gonna be joined in a moment by a special guest today, K Alyse from K Alyse Impact Event Planning here in Dallas, who on August 20th, out here in Dallas, they're actually going to be doing this evening to give back, which I'll be performing live at. So if you are in the area, come on down, enjoy some great music. It's for a good cause as well. K Alyse is coming on to talk to us about the event and how she organized it and some of the other projects she's working on. Real quick, you can follow me on Instagram at D._major music, as well as on Twitter, D.mme. And if you watch this podcast and you like it at the end, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Usually I post producer interviews, also interviews from other artists every week. So new interviews pretty much on Fridays here on this channel, as well as all podcast streaming platforms. Now, let's go ahead and get into the interview. What's good? I'd like to welcome y'all to another edition of the Major Music Lounge podcast, joined by Kelsey from K Alyse Event Planning here in Dallas, who actually is going to be a part of the Evening to Give Back event, which is going to be August 20th in Carrollton. So if you're out here in Dallas, go ahead, come out. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. So what's up, Kelsey? How are you today?
I'm doing well, doing well. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Doing pretty good, doing pretty good. It's just been a busy weekend, so just getting this podcast in and looking forward to being a part of your event as well. And I appreciate you coming on to talk about it and some of the other projects that you might be working on at the moment. So yeah, glad to have you on.
Yes, glad to be here and glad to meet you and be a part of this. So yeah, very looking much so looking forward to it. So
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So let's just start off an evening to give back, which is going to have all proceeds going to MetroCrest services here in the Dallas area. Tell us a little bit about the event and what's it's going to entail. It's going to be August 20th. So yeah, go ahead, tell us a little bit about that.
yes, so an evening to give back. This is our third year doing this event. We partner, K Alyse Impact Events is partners with Focus, which is a motivational brand. And so we started this, me and Mobeen, who is the owner of Focus, those 3 years ago. We just had an idea. We wanted to give back to Carrollton. Both of us went to Hebron High School in Carrollton. So it kind of was in our community where we grew up. And so that's kind of where the vision came from. And we both actually launched our businesses around the same time. And so we just kind of merged. And so the kind of theme for the event, An Evening to Give Back, is just about giving back to the community. Like mentioned, it's a canned food drive and all proceeds benefit MetroCrest Services, which is also in Carrollton. So it's giving back to the same North Dallas community. They also serve Addison and Farmers Branch and do just wonderful work in the community. And that's just a way for us to give back. And so this event on August 20th, it's taking place in downtown Carrollton, 1106 South Broadway Street. It's free parking. It's a free event. We just ask you to bring canned foods. And also this year, we're partnering with a new person. Her name is Shania, and she owns a nonprofit called the Playhouse Foundation. And she's doing a backpack giveaway. So for all children, youth, we'll have that available as well. So that's a new twist on things. We'll also have 6 different artists, like yourself, I believe, will be performing. And so we'll get to hear some local talent, get to network with different people and creatives, which is always a great time. We'll also have vendors out there. We have and motivational vendors. Actually, we have an author who's also a holistic author and a pharmacist. We'll have this one lady who she owns her own kind of, I don't want to misspeak, but you'll have to come out to the event to see it. But it's like journaling and how important that is for mental health, especially with kind of everything going on in our world and as it's ever changing. So just some kind of a feel good type of family friendly event. And so looking forward to it, and it's just going to be a great time. And so it will be a little hot, but we're hoping we'll have shade and things. So we're hoping that will help, but it will be later in the evening from 7 to 9. And so definitely looking forward to it and hope to see all of you there.
Yeah, definitely come out. Also wanna quickly shout out Focus. I never formally met him yet, but actually did an article with them a couple of months ago, so wanted
Awesome.
to quickly give a shout out to Focused. And yeah, come out to the event. It's gonna be August 20th. Hopefully it won't be too hot. It's in the evening, so temperature go down a little bit around that time. Now, looking at your website, very impressive. Notice that you got it started with event planning through your church group by doing a music event. And I noticed also, just kind of looking at your Instagram, you also were involved in some other events in the past with music. First and foremost, tell us a little bit about how that journey got started, where your interest came from to get into event planning. And then second part of that, I guess, is doing these music events, are you into like creating music yourself, or maybe just a fan of the art? That's how you tie maybe music into what you're doing.
Yes, that's a great question. So, yes, when I was 17, I was a part of my church's youth group, and they needed somebody to lead an event. And it was hard to get anybody to kind of step up in that. And I said, well, I'll go ahead and try it. And it was, like you mentioned, it was a music related event. So we had different kind of Christian artists come out and they performed. And it went over very well. It was kind of a smaller church. You only have about 100 people in our church congregation, but for that event, we had over 200 people from the community come out. So we were packed. The parking lot, we didn't even have enough parking. We had to find space, but it was just really amazing to see, because the majority of the people that were there were youth and young adults. So it was just great to see so many young people on fire for Christ. And so that's, after that event, I realized it was a gift and a calling that God was kind of leading me to help bring people together and kind of help bring the community together. And so that's kind of how I then started shifting towards community engagement, community outreach. Because currently, inside of K Alyse Events, I also work full-time in community outreach for a global corporation. And so I get to kind of do both at once, which is amazing, because you see the impact on a corporate level, and then you see the impact on a personal level as well. As far as, do I do music? I do spoken word poetry.
Okay.
And so I don't sing, I don't rap and those things, but poetry is something, it's an outlet is a release. And so it's also, I get to kind of impact people that way. And so when I also was 17 at that same event, that was the first time I ever had done a poetry related something. And so I really enjoyed that. And like I said, the impact it made. And that's kind of where the name kind of K Alyse Impact came from. Alyse is my middle name. And so I've stuck with that since then. And when I went to college a few years later, not going to get too deep into it, but I had a traumatic incident happen in my family. And we had a house shooting, and we were in the FBI interrogation room all night. And we had a therapist come in and just to talk to us. And she asked kind of what my passions are, because I fell out from doing poetry. And I told her, well, I did poetry before, but I haven't done much with it. And she asked me to just recite something, just a piece. And the piece I did was on, the title of it was Trust. And this lady told me that the event she had coming up happened to be on trust and reconciliation. And she was looking for a poet that had something along those lines. So it was pretty amazing that after I performed at her event, that's when I picked back up with the poetry. That's when I picked back up with doing events. And it may not have been for that night, I might not have gotten back into the community and the poetry. And so I just very grateful for that. And that's kind of how I have gotten to where I am now. And so just very grateful for, the hardest things and times in life really can bring out the best in us. So that's why I love doing what I'm able to do.
Yeah. First and foremost, God bless you, with that experience. And, I hope it's much better now, and I hope you continue to progress, in what you're doing. And it's kind of cool also, doing spoken word, because I don't meet many others. I know actually one of my friends, he does spoken word here in Dallas. Artist by the name of Heartless Garvey is actually on this podcast a couple of months ago, in fact. But he does a lot of spoken word, and now I got to start going to more spoken word events.
Yes.
I go to a lot of like music shows, but I don't get out to the spoken word events. So definitely got to pull up to something soon. Do you have any like other projects going on, like after this, or is this pretty much your focus right now, evening to give back?
Eating to give back is the main focus currently, but what I also do outside of just that type of event, I host different kind of smaller events for clients, and so I'll do birthday parties, I'll do just all kind of other smaller kind of family type of events. I've done networking events. I'm planning one for later this fall. The details aren't solidified yet, so I don't want to speak too much on it yet.
Yeah.
But so I do kind of smaller events like that. I have another artist showcase I'm thinking about doing at the beginning of next year. And so that's kind of on the horizon then. And then also kind of currently with, again, like my main job, we have this big summer campaign where we raised $200,000 for the American Heart Association. Wow. And so we have 12 fundraising events in 8 weeks. So it is intense. It's an intense time. So a lot of my focus is kind of shifted there. But again, it's great to also be able to work in an environment where there is an impact with your day-to-day 9 to 5. And so that's a lot of the things I'm working on currently.
Okay. And just kind of thinking about, some of the other projects I saw on the website too. You do event planning, social media, advertising, marketing, and then what else? Any other services too?
Yes, also photography, and also helping with the whole social media marketing. It's creating flyers, it's designing videos, it's creating websites for clients. I actually have a retractable banner I'm working on right now for a client today. So that's one of those, like you mentioned, smaller things kind of going on, but those, a lot of the services and all of those are listed on my website, like you referenced. So definitely can reach out to me on there if needed for any of those services. But that's kind of where I am now with the business. I have had interns that worked for me. They were high school and college. They now are going back to school now. So we'll be just me currently, but I also have that way to be able to give back to the next generation and share the knowledge that I have, even though I'm still young, fairly young, but I'm just grateful to be able to just share with the next generation.
Sure. And, kind of like with all that being said, from, I guess, being into a promotion and event planning standpoint, or how important do you think it is that an artist brands themselves, or a creator, generally speaking, brands themselves? Because, you kind of specialize in helping them get their brands out there. So how important do you think that is?
It's very important. And to me, I feel like you have to have so much promotion. So, and you have to be consistent with it so people know to come back to it. And sometimes it might seem like it's over communication, but most times you have to communicate it so many times so it sticks with people. So for instance, with the Evening to Give Back, posting almost weekly about this. So that way it gets so ingrained in people's heads that they'll know, okay, this event is coming on August 20th. Or they'll know, okay, this artist, I know he's always doing this. And so I know to look out for this. And this is what he's about. So branding is definitely important. And I definitely would encourage everyone to brand themselves or have someone to help with that.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like what you said about, remaining active, promoting your event. I think the same way for like artists and their music, or a producer and their beats, for example. If you don't post, it's kind of like your shop is closed in, some way, because there are a lot of people, for example, I think have great work, but they're not necessarily engaged online, maybe just one post every couple of days, even. It doesn't have to necessarily be every day, just letting people that are maybe your followers or potential buyers know that, hey, I'm available, I'm always working on something, and getting your name out there. So, I definitely agree with you on that. What's your website?
Yes. So website is www.KAlyseImpactEvents.com. And it's the same kind of handle as my Instagram. I couldn't think of the word. I also have it on Facebook. It's all linked to the same thing. So it's pretty easy to find me that way.
Okay. And what I always like to ask as well, like, do you have any kind of shout outs for maybe anybody involved in the event or any other work that you've been doing recently?
Yes. So I gotta keep going back to the evening to give back. So I shout out again. I know I've already shouted them out, but Mobeen and Focus, since we do so many different events together over the years, and even in the midst of this pandemic, this is our first time coming back with an event since all has gone on with COVID. So definitely shouting him out, shouting out Shania over Playhouse Foundation and all the work that she's doing in her community and being the partner together. Those are the main two with, again, these main projects I have going on, but there's so many people in my village who have been here for me, my parents, of course, God, number one, always. Even I have a good relationship with my current boss, who is my mentor, and she just helped me navigate so many different things. And so she took a chance on me, hired me right out of college to a job that wasn't even entry level, but more of a little more advanced. And so very grateful for her and the different networking and opportunities that have come from that because of her allowing me in. And so there's so many other people, friends and family, but like I said, just very grateful for those who are around me and in my networking community.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm looking forward to, coming out to this event, being a part of it. And it's definitely great to have this conversation with you about the event. And anytime you got anything and you'd like to come on and spread the word about it, definitely hit me up. You're welcome on. And anyway, even if I come down and, maybe do an interview at the event. So anytime you need anything, just reach out. So, definitely a pleasure to have you on.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to having you at the event and hearing some of your music too.
Oh, no problem at all. Definitely, definitely. It's gonna be August 20th again. So join us if you're in the DFW area. It's gonna be for a great cause, a lot of donations. Bring a canned good too. And then it's gonna be a free event and a lot of great music. So pull up and we'd love to see you there. You can follow me on Instagram at D.Major D._Major Music. Same thing on TikTok, as well as you can follow me on Twitter at D.MME. And if you made it this far in the podcast, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Like to post new interviews every week, whether it's with artists, producers, creators, anybody out there in the music industry that wants to get in and talk about what they're doing. So appreciate all the support on the podcast. And until next time, it's your boy D Dot, and I'm out.